Welcome to Mind Body Besties, your weekly reset with real talk, a little laughter, and the kind of honest conversations you'd have with your closest friend. I'm Katie, a therapist.
And I'm Rachel, a naturopathic doctor. We're here to share the personal stories, struggles, and wins that have shaped our own health and happiness. This isn't a lecture, it's a safe space to slow down, connect, and feel a little more human again. So grab your coffee, get cozy, and let's reset together.
Today, we're going to be talking about the mental load. And if you are feeling crushed by the weight of your mental load, we're going to share our stories and our hacks with managing our own mental loads to help you feel more resilient and balance that mental load. So first of all, what is the mental load? This is like a concept that is going around social media. And really all it is the never-ending to-do list that you have in your head, always running in the back of your mind. And it's little things like, what day do I have this appointment? What groceries do we need? I need to go get my tires changed. I need whatever it is. We all have this mental load that's running in the back of our head. And for some people, sometimes it gets to be too much. And I think for a lot of us, it will be too much at some point. So Rachel, what are your ideas about the mental load?
I mean, first of all, I feel like we're always like, oh, we just haven't evolved to keep up with this lifestyle. But I feel like our mental load and how crazy and chaotic everything is today is just objectively insane. So the amount of stuff we have to manage is crazy. And for the recovering perfectionist in me, it's very hard to not feel like I'm always 100% on top of things. So I feel like for me, it shows up in that stress feeling in my body, in my stomach of oh, I have all these things that I want to do, that I need to do, that I haven't done, or that even if there are already things I've scheduled, I have to remember to bring that up in that doctor appointment, or I have to remember to put that thing in my car when I'm going down driving to Fayetteville, where there's I need to return something to that store, that kind of stuff. It's really heavy. I feel like it bogs us down.
Yeah, I also feel like in today's world, we put really high expectations on ourselves, and we see a lot of things, especially on social media, where it looks like people have it all together. And for me, especially moms, and they have clean houses, they're making dinner, their kids are well behaved and can independent play, and they have a great relationship, and it just all looks so perfect. And first of all, that's not real. But we've created this society where it's we should be able to do it all. We shouldn't need help. And that's just not healthy.
I agree. And I feel like the amount of things you have to keep track of, I was kind of brainstorming, what are the things that are part of my mental load? And even though they're only done, I have to do 4 times a year for my business. And then there's the one big filing, but taxes, just knowing the taxes exist, that is a constant mental load. With your business, you have to save, put that aside, estimate that, it's a whole thing. And for me, even keeping track of family birthdays, making sure I get the gift. Yeah, making sure it's going to get in time. Am I going to be there for their birthday? Am I going to call them at what time? Even that can be part of my mental load.
Yeah. Speaking of taxes, I actually had a meeting with my CPA yesterday, and I was like, hey, what do you need from me? I started using QuickBooks this year to make it easier. What do you need? She started explaining stuff to me. And while she was talking, I was like, yeah, that totally makes sense. I get it. I log off the Zoom meeting to start doing it myself. And I was like, hey, I actually don't understand this. And I ended up just paying her to do it because I just could. I was like, when do I have time to do this? I do not have time to do this. I'm probably going to still mess it up. So I feel
like that's an example of the mental load of us being expected to be a little expert in everything now.
Yeah. I'm I already run my whole business. I can't also do the taxes. I just can't.
Yeah.
You gotta delegate stuff. What you're not good. And do I want to spend the money? No, I want to do everything myself, but can I? Yeah. So I did. And you know what?
Good for you. That's good.
I feel better. I feel better.
That's good. I literally, before we got on today, I was having a conversation with a friend about medication interactions, which this sounds kind of random, but it was this idea of how if you get meds from different pharmacies, if you see different doctors, everyone uses a different electronic health monitoring system. And so the pharmacist might not even know what all meds you're taking. And so it's kind of on you to ultimately keep track of your interactions. And that means becoming a little expert and learning where to check those interactions online. And like, that's another mental load to handle. It's like all these little things where we're expected to have this expertise so that we don't mess something up.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to share a little bit about what each of our mental loads are. Rachel, what's on
Oh
your list
gosh.
of things?
I think so, especially while I'm going through like my Lyme flare right now, like just keeping track of like the different, because I love my muscle testing doctor. So there's different supplements I want to try in different ways before I have my appointment so I can know which ones I want to muscle test for like dosing and stuff. So like that's on my list. And then just I'm always researching health topics and like look at what's being like, trialed or what just had a seminar talked about and stuff. And so that's always in the back of my mental load, which is like a fun part in a way because I love learning. But I also hate this idea of knowing that there's so much more out there for me to learn. So that gets on my mental load. And then I feel like even just managing my relationship, I might have a lot of stuff to do with a business that day. I might have a lot of patient messages to check. But also, if Joseph comes home from work and I haven't seen him all day, gonna hurt his feelings if we don't hang out, even if I feel stressed. So it's like
Right.
I want to put aside my business stuff so I can be present and hang out. And then Shirley, my dog, it goes beyond just feeding her. It's like, and walking her. It's like, I notice if she starts licking her paws, I'm like, oh, I've got to give her that natural antifungal powder again, which means I need to get the dog food that I can mix it in that she'll eat it in. And then I have to remember every day, even though that's out of sight in the fridge, to give that to her. So those are some of mine. Let's pivot to yours and we'll do a little ping pong.
Yeah. So most of mine now are mom related. And I think adding a kid to your family just like increases the mental load tenfold. And it's also like ever changing because they grow so fast. So right now, it's a lot of my days on the weekends when she's not in daycare is like, okay, she woke up at this time, so she'll go down for a nap at this time. She'll probably sleep for an hour and a half to 2 hours. So from 12:30 to 2:30, we have to be at home. So if we want to go do something at 10, that'll work, but we can't go at 11. And then when she wakes up, it'll be around 2:30 or 3, so we have time to go do this, but we can't go do this thing. And it's like her sleep schedule, it's do we have bananas and yogurt at the house? Because if we don't, all hell will break loose. And like, have I taken diapers to daycare? Do they have enough diapers at daycare? Just mostly mom stuff. When is her next, well visit? What do we have to do with that well visit? A lot of that kind of stuff. Does
Yeah,
she does she need new shoes? Do her shoes still fit?
that's a lot. The growing part is insane because it's hard enough to shop and keep like clothes that I haven't worn too many times so they still look decent for me and my wardrobe because I tend to wear the same 10 things even if I have a million things. So I can't even imagine shopping for someone else. That would be like my worst nightmare.
Yeah, you just buy things that they get dirty will still look okay.
So dark colors
Yes, dark colors.
or something you can bleach the crap out of.
Yeah. 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 Most of my mental load stuff that's new is all mom stuff. But then like you, I've also got business stuff. So if I haven't mentioned this before, I own a group private practice. So I've got several therapists that work for me as contractors, which makes it a little bit easier. But my business taxes are insane to do, like I just talked about. But also I have my own schedule and my own clients. I also, give out new clients to the other therapists. I answer the emails for the practice. I do all of the insurance billing. I verify everyone's insurance. And so when I get home, I enter mom mode and family mode. And then when Ivy goes to bed, I usually get back on my computer and do more work that day. So I've got like a split work day, morning, afternoon, evening with family, and then I get back on. And so I've always got business stuff. And one thing that I'm working on is if I get an email after like quote work hours, like we close at 6, I struggle so hard to not answer it right then because I don't want it on my to-do list. And so then I struggle to be like, okay, well, should I answer this now? Should I not? And so, yeah,
I have a
I
hard time with that one.
yeah, because if you have a normal 9 to 5 and you only work at work, you don't even see that email.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like whenever people are talking to me about business stuff, like there's a part of me that is so thankful for my flexible schedule and like getting to be creative in my job and
Yeah.
getting to show up the way I want because I'm not constrained by external expectations. But if someone had told me how much work a business is, like what you just said about insurance billing, that's someone's full-time job. Like
Yeah.
it's insane, like all the hats that you have to wear. Definitely, I think owning a business is a huge mental load.
Yeah. And I have like in the past hired people to do those things, but
Then it's on your mental load to check though, because you
but
have
then
to,
I have to check it anyway.
yeah,
And typically those people have not worked out. And so I just do it myself now.
gotcha. See, what you were saying about like, do I do the thing now to get it over with? I feel like I really had to redo my concept of handling the mental load after college. Cause like maybe it's because we had less like phone, like, yes, we had phones, but it was more for
I
just
think so.
texting.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe that made it easier. But in college, I could take care of all of my stuff. And even if I was taking like an 18-hour semester, whatever, I could get everything done. I had all my social time. If I had a task, I could do it and knock it out or schedule it within that next week. And then I feel like as I kept entering adulthood and you get more and more tasks and they're impossible to all do, or it's like that office is only open on Mondays and they close at 4 and I don't get off till after 4. And like you enter into all of this, like you really need to prioritize. And that's hard. That's so hard because it's like, what do you just check off the list? And then what do you save for later? Because you're prioritizing other stuff.
Yeah. And I think part of it is like we are so reachable now, whether it's email, text, instant message, what on social media, like my MacBook, I get texts on my MacBook, my Apple Watch. And so it's almost impossible. And could I do things to fix this? Yeah, absolutely. Would it cause me anxiety? Yeah, so I haven't done it. Like, could I take my Apple Watch off? Yeah. Could I make it so that I don't get text notifications on my watch? Yeah, I could. I could make myself less reachable, but then I feel like because people know I will respond, they're gonna like go into panic mode that I'm not responding and send me a bunch of messages that I don't see. And
Yeah.
so, like, that's one thing that's hard for me is setting boundaries now because I respond quickly most of the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially with
And
things with work.
yeah. One thing I've started doing is if someone texts me, I'll be like, I don't have time to look at this now, but I'll do it later. And I used to just not text back till I had the answer to the question. But now sometimes I text, I don't have the answer. But that only works for like a small amount of messages, not if it's to every message coming in.
Mm.
But that is one thing that I think helps me manage is like I think that yeah, it kind of schedules out when I'm gonna do this. And I used to, even if it wasn't an emergency thing, I used to be like, oh, I'll get back to you in like 2 hours because that's like the first time I'd be free. But is that thing really the thing that's max priority for me to get done? And so now I try to say, I will get back to you as soon as I can instead of giving like
Mhm.
a defined time just in case I can't actually at that time.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I struggle with, and then we can maybe move on to things we do to help with this. The biggest thing I struggle with is that when someone needs something from me or I think of something that needs to get done, I want to do everything right now so that it doesn't even hit
Yeah.
my mental load list.
Yes.
But a lot of times I've learned that just causes more stress because then to do whatever it is I need to do right now, I'm putting off something else. And
Yes.
it just, yeah, it's hard. And I also realize a lot of the things we're talking about are like, what a first world problem. Like you're worried about if your daughter has diapers at daycare, but like everyone has this mental load, no matter what it is. And this is just what's on ours. But
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone in different places has different things. So I just wanted to acknowledge that I realize these are not life or death issues, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, yeah. before we kind of move on to the solutions, I think the one other thing I've seen a lot, especially with people who are struggling with health stuff, is like you have to keep track of your blood sugar, you have to keep track of your medications, all you have to keep track of filling your supplements. They all seem to run out at different times. So you can't just like bulk order.
Right.
And like I think that the health thing, just because that's the angle, I come at and see all the time, is like kind of a full-time job. And that adds so much to the mental load. And I think we're like, oh, that's health. So of course it's there. But like that's a huge mental load for sure.
Yeah. If you've got a lot of things making you feel physically unwell, you're constantly trying to figure out how to make that go away or how to fix it and feel better. And so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. One thing I do is I do use a pill box. If you are taking supplements or meds and you are not using a pill box, you are adding to your mental load unnecessarily. Like 10 out of 10 recommend, no matter what your situation is, even if you keep it on your bedside, put it in a pill box that's on your bedside. And that is a huge one for me.
Yeah. And you can get a cute one. It doesn't have to be like an,
For sure. They make really cute ones now.
yeah, you don't have to get like an old lady pill box. You can get a cute
Yes.
one.
And you can
Like,
like
it's
pull
fine.
out the whole day or you can pull out the individual meal. They make them so nice
Um,
now. Yeah. So that's a big one for me. And then I love the app Our Groceries. It's free. And anyone in the household adds anything to the same list. And then if anyone's going to the store, they can get what's on the list because they see what we need to pick up at Walmart or whatever. And then you can check it off. And then you can also see what you've ordered in the past. You don't even have to think that hard about what stuff you usually get. So,
yeah.
like, I know some people make theirs in the delivery app because grocery delivery is another thing that I love. But yeah, that app and getting groceries delivered has been amazing.
The app is a good idea. So I can get grocery delivery, but we live far enough away from a Walmart that it's wildly expensive to get it delivered. So I can do pickup. The grocery app's a good idea though. We just keep a list, like paper list that we update it poorly. So I'm not sure I've ever gone to the store and gotten everything we needed. So that would be helpful.
That's hilarious because I feel like you are like, I don't know, that actually surprises me.
Oh my God, no, I never remember everything. And it's actually as soon as I get home, I walk in the door and I'm like,
Okay, that is the story of my life. So when I started scheduling deliveries, I scheduled them for the next day or that evening. And then you have until like 3 hours before you're
you
to
can
add
add
stuff.
stuff,
So
yeah.
it's like once you're thinking about it, then you're like, oh, I like that moment where you're like, I wish I would have. I still have 2 hours to add it.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea.
So yeah, that one's been huge. And then I did Hungry Root for a little bit when I was working two jobs and I chose, you can select on there your allergies and stuff. And then I was like, I need the 10 minutes or less meals. And
Yeah,
that was super helpful.
that's a good idea. So things that I've done, we have a diaper subscription. We get the Coterie diapers and they just get delivered every 4 weeks, like clockwork. You can decide how many diapers you want. You can like change your subscription month to month, but we've found our sweet spot. It's literally been over a year. I literally subscribed, haven't touched it
Oh my
since.
gosh.
He wants to change diaper sizes.
I was going to say, how do you even like, I guess you can just know how many diapers she's going to go through on average. So you don't have to adjust it.
Yeah, so they recommend an amount for you, and the recommended amount was just right. Usually
Oh,
we
wow.
have some left over so we don't run out.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And I know how many packs I take to daycare every month, and that's been lasting. So
Okay. I'll remember this if I'm ever in a diaper situation.
yes, diaper subscription. Because the worst thing in the world is if you go to the store and they don't have the diapers that you like, or they don't have the right size, and you have like
Yeah.
one diaper left at home, and you're like, great, now I have to go to another store or buy diapers that I don't like because I I I like my diapers.
Yep. This
Like
is
the
like the
color.
toilet paper dilemma. When you're out of toilet paper, you've got to get whatever's there. Yeah.
Yes. So the diapers, and then my husband has recently like been trying to get more healthy and tracking calories and protein and stuff. And so rather than having to like measure out his food and know how much protein and all of that, we just started getting him factor meals. And so he doesn't have one every night, but on our busier days, he just microwaves a factor meal and he really likes them. I've
I'm
gotten
just so
some.
curious about those.
They're not bad. I've gotten some of the vegetarian ones because I'm not technically vegetarian, but I really don't eat a lot of meat. And The vegetarian ones are okay. He seems to really like the ones that he gets, so that makes things easier. And
Nice.
then what else have I done? Oh, yeah. A really big thing that I've done is I've started asking for help when I need help.
Love that.
I used to really be bad about getting in this mindset of I should be able to do all of this. It shouldn't be hard for me. And realizing you're doing so much right now. Most people would not even attempt to do this. And that's a me problem. And so there were times when Logan would even be like, "Do you need help with that?" I'd be like, "No, I got it." And now if he asks me, I'm usually like, "Yeah, that would be great." Or if I notice I'm trying to do too many things at once, or I've got my next day is crazy and I'm like, "Hey, I know I normally get Ivy from daycare. Can you pick her up tomorrow?" Because it just is easier with my schedule usually, but I just ask for help now. And let me tell you,
Love
that
that.
does wonders. Just ask for help if you can.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it sounds easy, but I think a lot of us have subconscious blocks and stuff around that.
Mhm.
And it's like for most of my life, I think I was able to do most things. And now with adulting and with how reachable we are, like it truly is harder, I think, than it used to.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, before I had a kid, it was pretty easy to like get my stuff done, do whatever I wanted, not feel behind very often.
Yeah.
And then you throw another life into the mix. And now I find myself feeling behind pretty frequently. I do need help. I can't just whip up dinner when I have someone at my ankles
Yeah.
going, "Snack, snack, manna, manna," which is banana, manna, manna.
Aw.
Yeah, or bringing me things and, wanting me ball, ball.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
trying to cook dinner while that's happening when Logan is teaching a little bit later, like, that's significantly more difficult.
Yeah. Not the same thing, but my version of that would be when you were saying some of those things, I was like, with my chronic health stuff, I feel like that's kind of like taking care of a body, even though it's your body, it's
Yeah.
like you can't just do, you know, I used to just like eat when I could eat and like I would eat 3 meals and stuff. But with my chronic inflammation, sometimes my blood sugar gets out of balance. And so I have to like my body like pinging me and being like, eat, you need to eat now. And like having to tune in and listen to your body. I think when I started having the chronic health stuff is when it started feeling hard too. So
Yeah.
not the same as having a kid, but I feel what it's almost like you have to listen to another signal you weren't
Mhm.
listening to before.
Yeah. Well, in a way, it is the same thing because it's like, oh, you're in the middle of doing this thing, but you need to eat right now. So you have to stop and
Yes.
eat. I don't have to eat, but Ivy needs a manna. So I have to get up and go cut up a manna for her
I
right
love that.
now.
Cutting all the manas. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know if you've ever used the master calendars on the wall, but those are one of the things I love. I just got into it last year. 2025 was my first year. I did not delay in getting, I asked for the 2026 one for my Christmas present. I knew I needed it. And it's only like $7 online. And it's the whole year on the wall in one. And it's like
Oh my God.
4 feet, 3 feet by 3 feet or whatever. And it's amazing. Actually, it's not that big. It's like 3 feet max. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like really smaller than you think it would be, but you can still see everything easily. And it's really cool because I can put on there, I have the little like frontline stickers in the summer when like Shirley's going hiking and stuff. We give her that and her little ivermectin heart chews. Like I can put those stickers on there and see in case we like traveled or something and we're there on the first. And then I have everything, like all of our vacations or weddings or whatever is on there, days when someone's doing something. And then I can be like in my brain, that would really suck for my brain if I was to do this, this, and this back to back on all those weekends. Like I can see the gaps I
Mhm.
need in the weekends to give my brain a break.
That's smart. Yeah, we're not that sophisticated. We have a little dry erase calendar, like monthly one that I can dry erase. And so we do have
Nice.
everything for the month. I always do it like on the first day of the month. So appointments, it does have when all the bills are due.
That sounds
Uh,
pretty sophisticated.
I just like people are always like, just put it on auto pay. I've done that before and got really burned where it didn't work and our water almost got turned off. And I'm like,
Same. That's happened to us
I'm
too.
not trying to not pay it. And so I've got like one thing on auto pay, but the rest of it, I just want to pay it myself so I know it's paid.
Fair enough. I don't blame you. I
Want
hate
my
that kind of
water to get
stuff,
turned off one day.
which is just part of the mental load,
Yeah.
checking your utilities every month to make sure they're not going to get turned off.
Yeah, especially when you're like, "I'm trying to give you the money."
Yeah. Yeah. That stuff drives me crazy. With like, okay, speaking of digital stuff, I got a blue light blocking Kindle. So I got one with the setting to be warm light. I put all my books on Kindle and anything that I wanted to read, I put in my Goodreads app so I could keep track of it there. And then
Mhm.
Goodreads can sync with your Kindle. But that's been a huge one for me. So if you're a reader, and not everyone's a reader, but getting to have all my books in one place for some reason helps my mental load. I don't know why, but it does.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think also your mental load doesn't just have to be things that you have to do. It can be things that you want to do or want to get to. So it might end up being like, okay, so when can I fit in reading and which book do I want to read? Which again, not life or death, but it's just the stuff that's in the back of your mind.
Yeah. If someone mentions offhandedly, we love this show, it's great for couples to watch together, I'd be like,
Mhm.
I actually started keeping in notes because otherwise that was in my mental load. I'd be like, oh man, there's a show on Peacock. I can't remember what it is. And I actually had to start writing them down. And that's very voluntary. That's not an obligatory thing.
Yeah, yeah. So even though we know all of these things and we know what we should do, I know both of us sometimes don't do the healthy thing when we get stressed. I know I sometimes just rot on the couch and look at social media and watch TV, which I don't think watching TV is inherently bad. That's like a fun way
Oh,
to relax. But
yeah.
if you're like, I'm talking like I put on a show and I don't watch it and I stare at my phone,
Yeah.
and Logan's talking to me and I'm like not responding because I don't hear him. I'm talking about like that kind of like rotting on the couch, which I really try not to do, but every once in a while you just have to. And then, I mean, sometimes I just get really, really stubborn. And I'm like, I'm not asking for help. I can do all of this. And I just basically will burn myself out. And that usually results in me getting resentful or just crying over something really stupid because it was like the last straw that day.
Yeah.
And then I cry and get upset. And I'm like, well, you kind of did that to yourself.
There's a
So,
lot I feel like I do to myself. And I feel like one of the things is if I let my brain health slip a little bit, because I'm trying to just, I don't know, yeah, veg out or something. So I don't want to move from the couch to go get that water. But then if I like let myself get dehydrated or something, like then I will have a harder time bouncing back and my brain won't be functioning at full capacity. And like that's a silly little example, but I've noticed that when I don't do things that take care of my brain, all of a sudden things will feel so hard. Like the same number of things that I could manage last week, I can't manage this week. And then, man, it's the staying ahead of it that is so hard because if you don't, then once you get behind, you're already in the hole and then you have to crawl extra to do the
mhm.
thing to not only catch up, but also get you out of the hole. So I feel like, honestly, for me, like a huge game changer has been certain supplements and like different things that lower my specific stress and anxiety patterns in my body, making sure I do my electrolytes. They say even 1% dehydration shrinks your brain volume like crazy. So it's harder to function. So, like, I do wonder too, like, I wonder, obviously, I don't think that there's a set amount of things that someone should just be able to handle. It's going to be like so different and resilience is going to look so different for people. But I do feel like all these things that are contributing to our mental load are simultaneously draining our brain health and our resilience. And then it's harder to manage the mental load. So it's like this vicious feedback if our brains get, if we don't keep up with our brain health.
Yeah, I think so too. What are some things, just like basic things that you would suggest people to do to help increase that resilience and maybe lower their mental load?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like more mental load to eat healthily, but if you eat nutrients, like your brain is going to function so much better. And then will feel so much less stressed because you're getting all those B vitamins and like vitamin C and all the things from the food that you actually need to manage your stress pathways. And then the hydration thing, like that is real. And so electrolytes are not just a fancy workout thing. They actually help you hang on to your hydration so your brain will work better. And then I love sleep, as always. Biggest thing we can do
Me
to,
too.
yeah, keep our brain going. I feel like those are like the health side of things. And of course, there's a ton of like more specific stuff for specific situations.
Sure. Yeah. I think some of my biggest tips are number one, take an inventory of your mental load and what's really important on there. And almost like what's coming from your ego, like I need my house to be clean because I want everyone else's house is clean, or I want to do this home project so that my house looks like someone else's house, or I want to make these elaborate meals so that I'm a good mom. Look at those and like, are they realistic? Are they really that important? And can you simplify them? If they're ego based, what can you do there? But then also asking for help, and then delegating anything that you can delegate to your partner, to someone else at work. Like if you own a business, can someone else do that or do you have to do it? And then I think probably my biggest piece of advice is to, and this is really hard, stop living like you're always in a rush, like you're doing everything in a hurry. We're all kind of running around like we're being chased by a bear a lot of the time when we're just like going to get gas or racing around the grocery store in fight or flight, trying to get through as fast as possible because that society has kind of conditioned us to do that. So you got to stop living like everything is so serious and you have to get everything done right now and you're racing around, because that just, I don't care who you are, that's not good for you and it is negatively impacting your life. And I'm speaking to myself here too because I'm so bad. The other day I literally stopped and I was like, Katie, what is so serious right now? Why are you frantically cleaning your house? You're home alone. Like chill.
Yes. I relate to that so much because it's like you go into fight or flight mode because you want to get all this stuff done. But then if I'm in fight or flight mode, then like I forgot to put the thing in my car that I even drove to the store to return. And then you can't see the big picture. You can't be like, oh, I'm actually driving down there tomorrow anyway for this other thing. So I could just do that then. I don't need to make an extra trip now. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, that bird's eye view that we have when we're in rest and heal and digest is really nice for helping manage the mental load, actually.
Yeah. And before having a kid, I had a lot more free time and I didn't find myself doing that a lot. But I know where I learned it was, okay, Ivy's probably going to nap for an hour and a half to 2 hours. How many things can I get done? How fast can I get it all done? Or I'm done with work a little bit early today. She's at daycare until this time. I have 1 hour to like smash out this workout and try to prep dinner. Like, no, stop. That's ridiculous.
That's so
Just
hard.
pick one. You have extra time, great. Pick one thing. Or, if it's really not that important and you really need to relax, relax for an hour. It's just not so serious.
I like that. I like that. Well, hopefully this, can give a little, not that we're experts, we're just sharing our personal, things that are on our mental load and what we do.
Yeah, just take inventory of that mental load, and we all have one, and see what you can get off of it or what you can make easier.
Love it. All right, everyone. Well, I hope that you can feel like your most resilient self this week, mind, body, and spirit. And we will catch you next time.
Yep. See you later.
Thanks for joining us for another weekly reset. If you loved hanging out with us today, subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share this with a friend who could use a little calm and connection too. This show is for education and inspiration, not medical advice. To learn more or connect with us, check out the show notes below. Until next time, take care of your mind, your body, and your heart.